being vulnerable has always been hard for me. I have never been able to properly regulate my emotions. I was never able to express them properly. And this isn't something I had known until I was the age I am now. Years of bad experiences and self-destruction have led me where I am today. I used to feel really guilty and wallow in self-pity over the way I treated others and myself, but now I have made somewhat peace with the way I had been. I feel like the best thing I can do for that is take responsibility for my wrongs and be self-forgiving. I recently made a breakthrough with my therapist and was vulnerable for the first time in my life. I told her that I have always felt emotionally immature for my age, and my emotions were always inappropriate. I had a period a year ago where I felt nostalgic and drank and went out all the time. It was self-destructive and awful. There was no direction but downward on that spiral, and I became an alcoholic and lost a job I really liked. Getting clean and sober left me with a lot of body damage from the amount of alcohol I had consumed. The way I got sober cold turkey with the help of a withdrawal medication left me with a lot of psychological issues to work out physically and mentally. Slowly, I have been becoming a person I can be proud of. I learned to love myself, and to learn to regulate my emotions. For the longest time I was believed to be bipolar. Everyone had believed it to be true, several therapists, but I had a feeling in my gut that it wasn't that. My therapist noticed that I have signs of being neurodivergent. I knew I was not autistic because my mother had taken me to get tested at a young age and it was confirmed I was not. The reason I am neurodivergent is due to the emotional trauma I endured at a young age. This explains so much for me that I was overwhelmed with tears and was able to be vulnerable for the first time in my entire life. I explained that due to certain events that occurred at a young age, a death in the family and emotional abuse from my mother, that I had never felt like a child. When I was the age of a child, everything felt so young, and I felt so old. At a high school age, I was not mature enough to date, and had only discovered it because I felt like it was the thing I should be doing as soon as I turned 18. And it explained how self-destructive I was, how chaotic I was, how I used alcohol and mild drugs to control my emotions, and the amount of mental breakdowns I had. It explained the way I never said how I felt in any situation, and how I never felt like I could do anything. I am working on being more vulnerable, knowing these things about myself, and working on being a more loving, kinder person to me.